Hello! Hi, Empowerment Studio. Hello, friends tuning in. I am Kinzie Elizabeth. I am the founder of the Empowerment Studio, which is a boudoir studio in Kansas City, Missouri. And we are also a community gathering space. We love online events, we love in-person events. And we just now launched a brand new experience in the Empowerment Studio, a totally new way that you can work with us called the Empowerment Experience. And it is one part community and one part photo shoot. And together, it's going to merge together into this really beautiful 6-month group program where not only are you going to gather and connect with amazing humans who are going to help you grow and help reflect your own growth work back at you, and there's going to be a lot of like blossoming and magic happening, but we're also going to be doing selfies and photo shoots, and so you're going to get a lot of chances to see yourself over and over and over again, and I am just so pumped about this whole experience. Today, I have my friend and former and future client, Tiffany, with me. And I'm just so excited. We're going to chat about this upcoming empowerment experience and also just like her experience of boudoir in general and in the empowerment studio. And yeah, I'm really excited. So hello, Tiffany.
Hello, Kinzie. It is so nice to see you again.
So funny because I see your photos popping up, on like in my Google Drive or, when we're posting on
Yeah,
social media and think, hello, dogs. um, but to get to see you face to face is just so beautiful. I
it
love
is wonderful.
seeing you move in space. That's something that like after I photograph someone, I feel like I'm like, oh, I know how your face moves now. And to like see that in person again is great.
Yeah,
Would you like to introduce yourself? You can say, like, if you want to talk about capitalism and what you do, you can introduce with your
yeah,
pronouns and also just like kind of what you're passionate about or what gets you going.
yeah, absolutely. Like Kinzie said, my name is Tiffany. I am actually a labor and delivery nurse, and I absolutely love that job. I have considered kind of going into a birthing company, but as of right now, it's just not possible. So that's kind of my future goals because I kind of love everything that they do. It's a lot of non-traditional medicine and they kind of let your body go with the flow, which is what I like to see more often than being pressured into, oh my gosh, you need to be induced. Because I have 4 kids of my own and it is absolutely no fun being told, oh no, you have to be induced instead of letting your body kind of go with the flow.
Which I feel like is very representative of you as a human and your value system. You were all about like bodily autonomy and self-choice and showing up and everything. Do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have recently kind of helped inspire a lot of people at my work with my boudoir experiences, actually, and just being really open about my body and letting everybody know that they have absolutely no reason to be ashamed of what they look like, how they look like, what they weigh. They don't have to be a certain weight to go get their pictures done because I've changed my body multiple times, but I've had multiple experiences done, and you kind of get to see the changes through each one, and it is absolutely beautiful.
I love that so much. I love that you are such a boudoir stan. Like, so I follow you on Instagram and I am just like every so often seeing photos that you've gotten done with different boudoir studios around Kansas City. And I love that so much. I think there's some photographers who are like, oh no, my client went to someone else. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, get photographed by everyone so that you can see yourself through these different lenses. Tell me more about that.
That is absolutely what I feel like that is when everybody usually sends out their questionnaires, they're like, "Well, why are you doing this experience?" And one of the reasons is I love to see myself through someone else's eyes because like you said, everybody is different. I'm going to see a different side of myself through a different photographer, and it is absolutely amazing to compare the pictures and you're just like, oh my gosh, look how different these are. Even if it's like a same pose, you're like, this is just completely different from this other person. And it is absolutely beautiful.
It's incredible. And yeah, I mean, there's such incredible boudoir in Kansas City. And I feel like you've
Yeah.
got a really good knack for like picking out photographers who do see you and who like work really well with the human who they're with. So I think that's super cool.
Yeah. I think another reason I really, really love going around to everybody else is I really have been able to kind of give recommendations to people at my work because there are some people who are gonna be better fitted to somebody. I'm like, oh yeah, well, this is how my experience went with this person, and this is how this went with this person. And if you're really not comfortable with this, you should go with them. And it's been wonderful. And I also I love hyping up everybody in Kansas City because I love the small businesses. I want to support you guys as much as I can.
You're amazing, Tiffany. You are like dream client vibes. We love someone who's just like, yeah, I'm all in on this experience, and I value the fact that it's local and small business and everything like that.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious though, because you have done a boudoir session in the empowerment studio before, but you are planning to come back for round two. What's inspired you to come back and see yourself through the empowerment studio lens again?
Oh, well, my first experience was just absolutely amazing. I know that we had so many hiccups trying to get us into the studio, sickness and all kinds of things. And I was like, okay, we're eventually going to see each other at some point.
Yes.
And then I know we were discussing it, and I finally was able to convince my husband to come in to a session with us. And honestly, you are the only person that I was able to get him to come into a session with. And it was absolutely amazing. And when we looked at our photos together, seeing him through the lenses was absolutely breathtaking. And I know I was crying and he was probably uncomfortable. I was like, you don't understand how beautiful you are right now. And it was just, I was like, oh,
I know that you've described him as that he's pretty chatty when you two are together, but he
yeah.
was a pretty quiet person in the brand new context and feeling really vulnerable with boudoir. But I really did feel like he opened up and softened and just really relaxed into the experience. What do you think it was about the empowerment studio that allowed him to feel cozy and to open up?
Honestly, I think the whole environment was it was very calm and mellow. And I felt comfortable, so I think it makes him feel comfortable when I'm feeling comfortable. And during the whole time, you made sure that, if anything happened, it's totally fine. It's natural for our bodies to do things. And, it's just like, okay, I'm going in. And if something happens, it's fine.
Like he
We're
got
not
to
going
be
to make a big deal
relaxed.
about it. So,
Yes. Yeah, and then I also feel like I'm so hilarious with my dad jokes that there's some some kindredness and just some ease that happens there where it's like, oh, this is actually like a pretty lighthearted, like not an intense, serious experience because
yes,
instead we just get to play and enjoy, and this can be fun to be photographed.
exactly. And that is also what I love about boudoir is you're just letting yourself go. You get to do whatever you feel like. You get to feel your body moving through the movements, and you can let your photographer know, oh, hey, I've seen this pose. Can we try this? Or, if you guys have some recommendation and I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and try that. I haven't done that yet. And if we're not comfortable in that position, everybody's always like, okay, that's fine. We don't have to do it. Your body
Yes.
can't move that way. Fine. Okay, we'll try something else. And I love that.
That's a huge value of mine in the empowerment studio. I really love that we have created a space, a context that feels really cozy, and that first of all, you get to like take away the distractions of the outside world. You get to put your phone away on silent. You're not being a parent or a worker or a partner or all of these things, like, I guess until you're coming in and doing your couples boudoir session, then you're very coupley at that moment. But you get to like put the outside world down, and then there's this container that's like a playground where you get to practice speaking up for your needs and saying, hey, this pose actually is not going to feel great for my body. And I think for a lot of people that can be really challenging to speak up for your needs, but to know that that's what's being asked of you, to know that that's encouraged, that that's a good thing. I think people are like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to speak up for my need. We'll see how this goes. And then to have that met with like, okay, cool, great.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's also a really big thing of mine because I am a nurse. I am there to advocate for my patients and everybody around me. And that is something I have also really been doing with my coworkers because a lot of them are moms. And, they're like, well, I have this, and, I had a C-section, and now I have all these scars. Or one person was like, well, I have a dimple on my ass, and I don't like that. And I'm like, but it's beautiful because it's you.
Mm.
There's no reason for you to be scared of that part of you. And I've told them, I was like, it's taken a really long time for me to love myself and my body because I grew up with someone who was very unpleasant to me. And you grow up and you're like, oh, well, I should be looking this way. And once you finally realize, you know what, I don't have to. I can look the way I want to, and I get to feel comfortable in my own skin.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. That's what we're doing. And it feels like, to me, you really understand the value of community in that growth work, in seeing yourself in unfolding, in encouraging others, and probably seeing things in others that you're like, oh, that's beautiful in them, helps kind of reinforce that back to you.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious. So this next experience that you are signing on for, you are jumping in on this inaugural run of the empowerment experience of our 6-month group program that includes a personal, custom, one-on-one photo shoot experience as well. I'm curious about what it is that you are drawn to in choosing to participate in this.
Oh gosh, it is so many things. I know that it just randomly happened when I saw your fingernail polish, and then I messaged you and I was like, oh my gosh, I have that same type in it. And then we got talking about Alice in Wonderland and those theme shoots, and I was like, oh yeah, it'd be great to just go out in the open and have like people all together and being able to do that. I think having a sense of community is also really important. Being able to have like-minded individuals together that we can kind of sit, talk to each other, we can get to know each other and start to feel comfortable, and then we can kind of grow our circle, which is what I need because being a parent, and I'm sure you understand too, is very taxing, and you feel like, man, when do I get to feel like myself and not a mom anymore? So that is one of the things that I really look forward to is just being out there and being like, oh, well, I'm me right now. I'm not a mom. I'm not a wife. I'm Tiffany, and I'm going to do what feels right for me right now, which is very exciting. I'm also very excited for all the fun selfies. And
Yes.
then just all of the ideas that we're going to be able to bounce off one another to kind of get our vision laid out for what we want our photo shoot to look like.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that aspect. So throughout these 6 months, at some point during the 6 months is when your photo shoot will take place. But in the months leading up to that, not only are we going to be doing weekly selfie prompts and journaling prompts to kind of like dig into and see ourselves from different angles, but like dig into who we are. And because I think there's like sometimes a layer of like, okay, cool, I would love to like ask for what I want, but what do I want, right?
Exactly.
And so there's going to be that like the journaling and the selfies, but then also for those of you who are in the body liberation tier, which is the part of the group program that is getting these one-on-one photo shoots, you're going to have additional prompts that are like, okay, let's create a Pinterest board that shows like the energy of the photos that we're hoping to create.
Yes.
Let's create a vision board for the makeup look that we might want to do, or for what kind of outfits are feeling exciting. Do we have some of those in the client lingerie closet already? Do you want to go rent a ball gown for this, or, you know, whatever? And
Yes.
that is a part, like each month feeling the unfolding of and discovery of people seeing themselves in photos. Like what do I want this to look like, and how can we make it happen?
Exactly. Oh, I love that. And just, I think being able to work together to kind of put that photo shoot together as well, kind of, it gives me a feeling of just like confidence. And I'm like, oh man, I really am part of the team, because I get to help kind of make this vision come to life. And I was part of it. And that is just absolutely amazing to me.
It feels like we're going to be doing all of this internal work. And then through the selfies and then through your photo shoot, you're going to get to see that internal work manifested externally. And then you're going to get to see it from, like, you'll see it outside of yourself. And that will like blossom the growth work even further.
Yes. Oh, and you'll be able to see everybody else do it too, which is amazing, because you're going to be watching everybody else's experience. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, we first started this in this month and I saw you here and now we're here and you are just absolutely amazing now. You've opened up more, or I can see the changes that you're wanting to do, or just you're working on this and I can see the growth that you're making. I just, oh, I love that. I love being able to see people change and grow and learn.
Oh, it's going to be so potent. I think it's really just going to be this like really epic thing. Something else that I'm really looking forward to is we're going to have monthly group calls where people are going to have the chance to hop into a hot seat if they want to, or they can like just talk one-on-one with me, but also get group feedback, right? And I think it's going to be really cool for people to just like bring whatever is either like poking at them or what's feeling in their way, or something they're trying to like work out. How do I represent this in my photo shoot? This is a new unfolding I've had. How does this show up? But I think what's going to be really cool is not even just the one-on-one time that I'll get with you, but then you getting to hear what other people are bringing, because they might say something that you're like, oh, I didn't even consider that. I would never have thought to bring that up. But holy bananas, that is exactly what my brain needed to unlock this next thing.
Exactly. And I love that, because we really do get to kind of bounce ideas off of each other, or we get to listen to somebody and we're like, you're right. That is curious. Maybe I'll look into it, or, huh. And then you kind of give them a suggestion, or you're like, well, did you think about this for that as well? And they could be like, oh my gosh, you're right. Maybe we could incorporate that somehow. And
I think I think the growth work here is just going to be like stacked, like layers and layers and layers of people unfolding and really becoming this huge version of themselves. And it feels really exciting. We're doing this April through September. So my thought is, by the time of like the holidays, when things are so nuts and chaotic and there's all these extra events on our calendars and everything, like I feel like I'm still in recovery mode from it.
Oh my gosh.
And so to have this strengthening and this becoming more in your body and more sure of yourself going into that, I feel like everyone's going to have a different experience a year from now.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to look back at this and they're going to be like, that was absolutely worth it, because I have seen so much change, not only in myself, but you can kind of see how it goes around. Because when you do change yourself, it can kind of grow on other people. I'll be able to see how everybody else around me is kind of picking up on what I'm giving off.
Yes, the mirror effect, right? Like, so how about someone who's considering joining you in this first round of the empowerment experience? What would you say to cheerlead them, to make them feel to help them feel comfortable, or make them feel some ease around this concept of investing in themselves and around doing a thing that's going to involve a lot of growth work and a lot of photography and a lot of magic, right?
So I think a lot of my stuff starts out with, most of the time we really don't do stuff for ourselves. And self-care and self-love is also a really big thing that I have kind of started realizing, because I'm like, if I don't take care of myself, then I can't really do a good job of helping others around me. And I think that's a really big point, because this is going to be a self-care thing for yourself, because you're going to go in and you're going to do the journaling. Like you said, we're going to do selfies. We're going to be able to talk to each other every month, and you're going to be able to invest so much time into yourself and kind of grow and see, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed at this point. And you deserve it, honestly. And I think everybody does. And you're going to have so much fun. I love the Empowerment Studio anyway, because I was comfortable. I felt like we were at ease the whole time. I didn't feel like I had to tiptoe around things, and we were joking and laughing. And honestly, I'm like, this is exactly what I want. I want to be able to feel like, oh my gosh, we've been best friends for like my whole life. And that is exactly how I feel. And
I love that.
I think a lot of people would feel the same way, honestly, which is, I would be like, you know what? Come on, come do it. You're going to feel like your family here. And that's what we want.
You're gonna feel like your family here. I love that. That's exactly it. I think that this group is going to bond so beautifully through this growth work and through the exploration. And so many of the people who have signed up already have expressed to me that just having more community is one of the values that need is being met in this context. But not only is it just like people meeting each other, but you have a purpose together. And that's going to forge bonds in a really special way.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Tiffany, thank you so much for talking with me. Do you have any parting final thoughts that you would like to share before we sign off?
Please. Well, I am very excited to get started, and I cannot wait to meet everyone who is going to be signing up, which means if you haven't, you probably should. And I know that you're actually offering some scholarships to people as well.
Yeah, so
if
for the
you're having
community
some,
tier, for sure, for the community tier, which is the tier that there's like the body liberation experience, which includes the full photo shoot. But then there's this community tier that is for everyone to experience this growth work. We're doing some group, like one-on-one photo shoots and then group context. We're doing selfies. There's going to be so much magic in the community tier. And yes, we are offering scholarships because we want to make this as accessible as possible. So come on in, y'all.
Exactly. Go do it.
All right. Thank you so much, Tiffany. You're lovely. And I am so excited to hang out with you like super much starting in April. This is going to be a blast.